Okay, pal, here's the setup. You wake up on the floor and you don't know who you are or how you got there. You're searching through a seedy Chicago casino, decorated with one somewhat familiar but very dead body. You gotta find out who you are and who iced this guy, in a hurry. Otherwise, the cops are gonna peg you for murder one. Deja vu. In this case, what you don't know can kill you. This is Deja Vu from ICOM Simulations in 1990, much in the same arc as Shadowgate and Uninvited, because the same people made it. Point-and-click-ish adventure set in the world of the 1940s hard-boiled detective novels and movies. Was released in 85 for the Macintosh, and it is the first in the MacVenture series. It was later ported to several other systems, like the NES. It was also released on the Commodore Amiga and featured more sophisticated graphics in 1985 through 87. Whatever that means. The game takes place in Chicago during December of 1941, shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The game character is Theodore Ace Harding, a retired boxer working as a private eye. The player awakes one morning in a bathroom stall, unable to remember who he is. The bathroom stall turns out to be in Joe's bar. A dead man is found in an upstairs office, and Ace is about to be framed for the murder. There are some clues as to the identity of the murdered man and to the player himself. A strapped-down chair, mysterious files, and a syringe are found, suggesting that, together with a needle mark on the player's arm, that some kind of elaborate torture has taken place. Adversaries that the player meet outside the bar are a mugger, an old acquaintance with a grudge, and the police. The player has a boxing background, which proves to be a valuable asset. The player must find the addresses around Joe's bar and then make taxi rides to a few locations, including his office, to gather more elements and unravel the story. It involves a kidnapping in which Ace has played some part, but his memory lacks important details. Ace's memory and mental condition get progressively worse, so the player is required to obtain an antidote to the drug that caused the memory loss. After that, Ace has recurring flashbacks filled with information that help the player to evaluate the evidence and take action accordingly. This game and its sequel, Deja Vu 2, Lost in Las Vegas, require significant lateral thinking. Some situations are based in common detective techniques, while others require simple violence. Overall, they are more realistic than the other two MacVentures titles, Uninvited and Shadowgate, because there are no supernatural elements involved. Deja Vu was the first game to use ICOM's trademark MacVentures interface and engine. It was awarded the Software Publishers Association Excellence in Software Awards. That's a pretty petty little name, isn't it? In 1986 for Best Entertainment Product and Best New World, and inspired similar point-and-click games such as Maniac Mansion from LucasArts. Numerous ports were made, including versions for several home computer systems in 1987 and one for the NES in 1990. Versions of the game and its sequel containing new graphics and sound were released for Microsoft Windows in the early 1990s. Windows 3.1 by that point, and later as a combined single cartridge release for the Game Boy Color under the title Deja Vu 1 and 2. The original game box and the in-game logo title written as Deja Vu without accent marks. However, the title on the back of the box spells the title in the correct manner, as do the logos for the NES and Game Boy Color ports. Some sources also had an additional subtitle of A Nightmare Comes True, a tagline that is absent from the in-game logo and NES game box. So if you played Uninvited, if you played Shadowgate and you liked them, and you haven't played Deja Vu, you should play it, because you'll probably like it. If you didn't like the fantasy-esque kind of stuff in Shadowgate and Uninvited, this one's going to be much better for you. It's really gritty. You know what I mean? It feels like what time frame it's from. Just works really well. Seems to be a little bit slower than the other two games, but that is possibly because it was the first released. But still, pretty good. Pretty good.